let's get back to 2021. So far you've dropped your first three tracks, like Lil Tim McGraw, Kingdom, and Can Break Me Down. So how does it feel to finally unleash these songs into the world?
Feels good. It actually makes me like nervous because I'm doing it all myself. I don't have a record label or anything like that. It's like it's all me putting the shit online, distributing it, doing all the work. So it's I've never been so hands-on with something. So I get like butterflies and shit.
So you mentioned in the premiere stream for Kingdom that you were looking at like an 11 track release. With streaming kind of changing the model, are you planning to keep dropping these one at a time as Spotify like type singles, or are you gonna cut bait at some point and just be like, boom, here's an album?
Right. Yeah, I kind of don't know. I don't when doing this shit, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I've never thought about that kind of thing. So it's like I got advice from people, like it's called a waterfall release. You release like a few songs every now and then and kind of see what happens, just because people's attention spans are shorter now, with TikTok and all these things the kids are on. So it's yeah, I'm just kind of releasing songs one at a time, but I'm getting antsy. Like I want to release the whole fucking thing and let it go. I don't know if I'm being annoying by just releasing one at a time, or if that's the way you have to do it these days.
Yeah, I think we're just trained on that model from HU's last few albums, where it's like song 1, month later song 2, month later song 3. Now we open pre-orders for the full album. Couple months go by, music video, and then finally like, okay, here's album with new single, right?
Yeah. It's kind of weird because once you drop the album, then it's done. It's like then you just hope for the best. But if you are releasing one song at a time, kind of taking your time, feeling things out, you're not really sure what song you should release next. It's like it's exciting that way, and it keeps people excited. And you can, I don't know, it seems like the way you got to do it these days.
So on Kingdom, you worked with Brandon from Atreyu and I think Joey Bradford from The Used, if we read right.
Yeah.
There was always a vibe, like during those Vatos Locos tour interviews and stuff, that Atreyu and HU had a big love for each other. So what was it like to finally get to do something with Brandon and Joey and like put something out together?
That was cool. We've always talked about Brandon and I like writing together. And Joey, I met when he was on tour with Brandon's solo thing. He's cool as hell. I freaking love that dude. So I had 9 songs for the solo project. I was like, I need one more. Brandon hit me up to do some writing. I was like, let's fucking do it. So we wrote Kingdom, and then that went good. So we wrote one more. And they turned out fucking great. Like Kingdom, I feel like really did like tie in. Like I didn't have a heavy song on the record, so I felt that really was perfect. And I imagined like opening, like if I were to play live, I would open with that song. Like Kingdom would be, I think, like a great opener to a set, and possibly an opener on the album. Who knows? But yeah, that was great writing with those dudes.
So Brandon also made a good pitch to you, either to start a Twitch channel or do a podcast or something a few weeks ago. Any appetite for pursuing those outlets in the future at this point?
Who knows? I thought George and I would have we would be good at podcasting, at least for an hour when we're on tour. We don't have shit to do. We just talk for an hour. So who knows? Yeah. I mean, I'm not dying to do it, but might be fun, especially when we're on tour and we're bored as fuck most of the time.
So, and speaking of Twitch and video games, like we know you didn't know what Half-Life was in our last interview, but do you know when the hell GTA 6 is coming out?
I don't know. I think too many people are still playing GTA 5, right?
I told Vic, we've gone through 3 PlayStations and we still are on GTA 5.
Holy shit. You still play it too, Vic?
Yeah, sometimes, from time to time.
It's only online, right? Like that's all you guys do, and they come out with new games and shit for it.
Yeah, I think it's like a live service model they're doing right now. They were supposed to do more like story content early on, like they did for 4, like Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost in the Damned, but they made so much fucking money off of online that I think the higher ups at the studio were like, fuck it, we're doing this for the next 10 years. Let's go.
Yeah, fucking crazy, man. I saw one online where like if you have a computer, you can get a mod and be a cop.
Yeah. There's a crazy modding scene on PC and like role play servers and all that.
That shit looks like fun. But I try to game it now and I just get bored instantly. I don't know if I'm getting older now. I'm 29. So it's like
Maybe. Personally, I didn't really like online mode. I'm all about story.
You still play the story after all these years?
No, when I was playing it first, like
when you got it. Oh yeah, fuck yeah, me too. That's all I do is the story modes of shit.
Story was interesting, and online is just a bunch of kids like fighting each other.
And I tried to, but I like started way too late. So everyone's fucking got like $1 billion and like badass cars and guns. They just fuck my ass up the whole time. Like, no more, I'm done.
It's true. That's what I feel like too.
Yeah.
Make you humble fast, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with Red Dead Redemption 2. Like they're online. I went in there and some fucking asshole was shooting me nonstop. I spawn killed like 100 times. It made me so fucking mad. Like actually mad. So maybe that's why I can't game it anymore.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is a great game. At least story.
Hell yeah, shit's fun as hell. If you have a PlayStation, have you played the Uncharted games?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That shit actually blew my mind.
2 was just a nonstop thrill ride, and then 4 was just like, you know, so cinematic. Like some of those vistas were just like artwork dripping off my TV. I was like, oh man, the people that put the work into this, just mad respect, like you said.
Hell yeah. That shit was fucking crazy. I haven't played 2. I'll check that out. I only played 4 and it fucking blew my mind how good that was.
I think there is like Uncharted movie trailer that was released maybe a day or 2 ago.
Really? Oh shit.
Yeah. So they are making a movie.
You got to get caught up on the lore and maybe you can direct the sequel.
Hell yeah. I'm down.
Okay, so getting back to our conversation, we also spotted a long-time issue producer Griffin Boice on your Instagram feed like a few months ago, I think. Should we expect him on production side for your album?
Yeah. Griffin is like literally, after working with him, he's like my fucking master splinter. You know what I mean? He's like Yoda. Like he's so, like I really do love having that guy as like a friend and a mentor, like with as far as production and songwriting. Like he's a really smart guy and he's very, very talented. So when I had all my songs done and I had the old Griffin songs, but I was like, this shit's missing something. So I was getting like writer's block and shit. I went through a period where I was like, oh, I fucking forgot how to write a song. I suck. I quit music. Not really, but like bad, to where like I really felt like, like a lot of artists, after a while you lose it. You know, it seems like all the old fucking school guys, they lose it. So I was like getting there like low on myself. So I called Griffin. He was like, let's meet up and write some songs. So we were gonna, he lives in the center of the US. I forget, it's called Lebanon, Kansas, I think. Whatever the center of the United States is, he had to like quit music and get away from it all. And he said he had to center himself. So he moved to the center of the United States and bought a house and quit music for a year. But I called him like right when he was down to work again. So he's like, I'll meet you halfway. And then we ended up changing it to where he stayed at my house and we recorded for a week. And he kind of got me out of my funk of being hard on myself and writer's block and figuring things out. He was like a fucking godsend, man. Like he was great. So we wrote 5 songs while he was here. I guess, yeah, I haven't released any yet, but They're cool. They're different for sure. It's not like the normal Griffin thing because he's kind of evolved as a human being and as a producer. So it's, I guess, the more experimental side of my solo album is the Griffin stuff. But like to me, was, I love it personally. And I hope people get it and they understand it because it's different, but not too different. But it's we really weren't overthinking anything. Like he basically showed me like sometimes I'd like nerd out on one sound. Like I have a synth part, but I can't find the right sound. So I'd literally scroll through sounds for fucking hours and then eventually give up on the song. And he was like, basically, whatever the first sound is that we brought up, I thought it sounded like shit. He's like, nope, that's it. Move on. It's like, really? That sounds like shit. No, move on. And then like we'd go through we'd write like a drum part. Oh, it could be better. He's like, no, we're moving on. So it's like literally not overthinking anything, which is the worst thing an artist can do is overthink shit. He taught me how to not overthink again and just fucking be creative and free and don't nerd out on shit. So we wrote those 4 songs. And after that, he got me out of my writer's block phase completely. So like he was a complete godsend for me.
We definitely noticed he's kind of quit for a while. Like he deleted himself from social media, and his latest contribution to HU Songs was like in 2017, like Psalms.
Yeah. Yep. He quit music completely and just moved to the center of the United States and renovated a house for a year. He didn't listen to music. He didn't touch a computer. He didn't do shit. Even when he came here, he wouldn't touch my mouse with his right hand. He's like, nope, I'm different now. He'd use a left hand and use the mouse. Shit, dude. You're crazy. Yeah, seriously.
So you mentioned that Tim McGraw was on the 5 tracks that you've done with Griffin back in LA, like that earlier set. How did the idea for that song come together? Because it is a little different from some of your other material.
That's is it a pussycat?
Yeah.
This is a special guest.
Yeah. If chat was on here, they'd be like, cat, and they'd start spamming cat emojis.
Oh, yeah. Tim McGraw was one where I was talking to him. I want to do a solo project. At that point, I wasn't sure if it was going to be country. And so that was the first song we wrote. I was like, let's write a country song, but like party country song, because that's what it would have been. If I were to do country shit, it wouldn't be normal like hardcore country. It would be like outlaw country mixed with hip hop and fucking party and Nate Dogg, but Nate Dogg version of Johnny Cash, basically. So that's what the project was going to be. So Tim McGraw was the first song. I think I had that riff, and we started with that and just kept building on it. And that was literally one of the best times I've had in the recording process in the studio, like just throwing out lines to him and like us laughing our fucking asses off and then recording them and high-fiving. And that shit was fun as hell, man. It really was. Writing that song was a blast.
Impressively, there goes the kitty cat. Like almost every single line in that song is some form of punchline or jab or a dad joke or a pun. Like how long have you been trying to get a comedy party country combo track produced? Because it seemed like you had a lot of stuff to get out in that mode.
Yep, that's it. That's like every redneck reference I know, and like every redneck person I've ever met, all boiled into one song. But while we were recording that, we were fucking literally like crying, laughing. It was fun as hell.
My personal favorite is about knowing just 10 states.
Yeah.
This is where it corrects me up.
Wait, there's more than 8?
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of singles, historically debut singles were like more radio friendly or mainstream tracks, but streaming kind of changed the game. Like people can stream wherever they want. So what was the thought process behind choosing Lil Tim McGraw as a debut single?
To me, that song was kind of the one that I was most excited about, I guess, just because I've had it for so long and couldn't wait for people to hear it. Like there was points where that might have been a Hollywood Undead song too. I think I might have brought it to the fellas like, hey, we should put this on the album. For one reason or another, it didn't happen. But that one I've just had for, I don't know, 6 years and was so excited for people to finally hear. So I was like, oh, the first song I release will be that one for sure.
So going back to like the comedy side for a second, you've obviously demonstrated like a sharp wit and the ability to like write about all types of subject matter and tones over the years. Like you can do a like, I'm gonna punch the first motherfucker I see in the face vibe with like kill everyone. You can, you know, spit bars about your own mental health and something like Broken Record. And then you keep coming back to like this comedy side, like Everywhere I Go, Lil Tim McGraw. Like what keeps you revisiting that side of music, and what does comedy and lyricism and music mean for you?
To me, it's like music should be fun, I think, no matter what. Even if it's a serious song, it should be fun. And sometimes working on like these serious songs, it really takes a lot out of you. And it's not fun writing a lot of times. So if there's like 2 songs being worked on at one time in Hollywood Undead and one's serious and one's fun, I gravitate more towards the fun shit because I like having a good time. And it's always been kind of my forte in the band. I don't know why, like, but it's fun to do, you know?
You've mentioned on Instagram that Kingdom is probably the heaviest track on the record, and your work with HU is known like for a constant variety of sounds and experiments. So can we expect your solo album will be the same in terms of sounds and genres?
Yeah, for the most part, I feel like Hollywood Undead, what it's become is kind of like a heavier rock band, especially with like the tours we get on, the festivals we play. We kind of become a heavy rock band. So I didn't want to make my solo record a heavy rock album. That's like, you know, that's kind of Hollywood Undead territory. So for me, it was just filling in the blanks kind of what Hollywood Undead doesn't do anymore, I guess, or what we've moved on from doing, and what maybe there's only room for 2 of these types of songs on a Hollywood Undead record. So I kind of just focus on writing for fun again and not trying to make it fit anything and not be heavy, and just be fun, be a good time. Like I do music because I enjoy it and it's fun to me, and there's nothing more rewarding than finishing a song and listening to it when it's done. And if it's a good song and it makes you want to dance or makes you laugh or makes you want to party, like that's kind of the vibe I go for. Like I hear from fans a lot of times like, oh, we'll throw on your record when we want to like fucking pre-party when we're in Vegas. So it's a lot of times like that's when I want to listen to music too. And I have certain bands I throw on in that moment. So I'm kind of just catering to my needs and also other people's, what I hear people enjoy from me.
So there's been like barely any mentions of your solo project or what the greater band has been up to in music media, like on the big like blogs and news sites and stuff. But you guys still seem to be successful with touring, social media. You know, you're charting pretty consistently on the stuff that does get out there, whether it's a collab or your own stuff. So like, any thoughts on like why you guys have struggled like getting press attention, but also how you've been able to maintain that momentum all these years despite that fact?
Yeah, that's literally because of our fans. Like our fans are so hardcore and loyal that it doesn't matter. Like if we have like the big label push or any kind of push or attention from this or that, it's like our fans are hardcore. and they spread the word. They tell their friends, and then also obviously,
Okay.
yeah, dude, it's great, man. Especially like I have realizations all the time, and so much gratitude towards our fans. Like it's crazy, and doing meet and greets like in person, and doing the online ones we did for the Unhinged, and the other one we did, I forget what it's called.
House party.
House party. When we did that one, and we were doing the meet and greets, like our fans are just normal but good fucking people. Like we don't have fucking assholes. Like our fans are really cool, and they feel like family. So we're very fortunate in that sense, and I think that's why it doesn't matter if we never get radio again. It's like I know that our fans, they will love us forever. So it's great.
So everyone's home from touring. The industry in general is kind of seen a huge uptick in collaborations and features between artists, like over the last year, 2 years, with everything being shut down. I think it's like for the first time ever in history, everyone's available at the exact same time, because like, what are you doing? You're not on the road, right? We've seen numerous guest spots on your guys' recent tracks. You're doing more collaborations than ever with the band. You and other members of the band are doing solo material. Like you guys are also hopping on other bands' tracks and working with other artists. Traditionally, like if it's not hip hop, the other genres, like the other big genres like rock and stuff, have been pretty reluctant to go into that collaboration territory, whereas hip hop has always kind of embraced that and built on that throughout its history. Do you think now that people that might play other types of music have gotten a taste for this, we might see that more in the industry going forward? Or is this kind of like a one or done thing?
No, that's going to happen forever. And it's kind of cool too, because it used to happen a lot like in the 60s. Like people would share songs and like co-write songs without wanting anything in return. It was cool. It was like artists coming together like it should be. Like people should support each other and try to help each other. And it's cool that it's happening again. It's like the fucking summer of love all over again. It's crazy, dude. Like now bands really are like uniting, and it's not a competition. It's like, hey, let's help each other out and let's write something fun just because we're homies. So, and I feel like it is happening now more than ever, and there's no reason that that would stop, right? It's like people want to hear that now. It's cool to hear like your favorite rapper with your favorite rock guy and collab on a song. Like it's interesting to me, and yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, should we expect any surprise collaborations on your solo album?
No.
Okay, so it will be totally solo.
Well, surprise. Would it be a surprise if Zero was on a song? It wouldn't be a surprise, but it'd be cool. It'd be a surprise, but
It
not
will be definitely cool.
It'd be a great surprise. Yeah. But it wouldn't be like
I'll take that surprise.
That is a good surprise. But I'm not saying it's happening. I'm not saying it's happening, but would that be a surprise?
It would be a welcome one, to be sure. How about that?
Hell yeah. Well, here's the cool thing is Zero, we are fans of. That is a fucking talented dude. And he's also cool as hell. Like the first time I met him and hung out with him, it was like, he's one of those dudes who feels like you've known him your whole life and you just met him. So we've always talked, like we would love to tour with him, and we would love to have him featured on our record. Now, hopefully that surprise happens, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I think he previously mentioned in one of his interviews that he recorded a chorus for one of HU songs, I think.
He was lying, that piece of shit. No,
well, at least that's what he said.
Really? On the new record? Is that what he was referring to?
I'm not sure. He just said he recorded chorus for something you're doing together.
Interesting. Okay. Well, see, now even I'm surprised.
It could have been like, maybe it was phrasing like fade out, because I know there was an interview about that too, where you and George like helped write that hook for him, and that made it on his album.
Oh yeah. Yeah. George and I co-wrote with him and Andrew No Love for the Middle Child. So that was co-produced by me and Andrew, and then co-written by all four of us. That was the first time we met over Zoom like this and wrote a song in a day.
Speaking of Zero, like a lot of HU fans are very kind to him, and like a lot of HU fans now paying attention to his music too.
Yeah. Yep. Which they should too, because it's good, you know?
Yeah.
It's always cool when someone has good music and they're cool, because most of the time it's one or the other. Great music and they're an asshole, or shitty music and they're cool as fuck. So it's rare that you find someone who's a combo of the two. He just had a #1 at rock radio with Adrenaline.
Yeah.
Like, he's killing it, man, and we're rooting for him.
Yeah, he's like a little brother to HU.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Yeah.
So you and Johnny are both co-located in like the greater Nashville area now, and you've appeared on a bunch of these collaborations with other artists. You even cranked out an extra song for the last record with Hyra the Hero together that you produced, coming through the stereo. You did Go to War for his Dead Son debut. It seems like proximity has helped keep you two in particular working together more frequently these days.
Yeah.
So especially like with everything shut down in the pandemic and the band living, in different locations in the country now. So how's the dynamic changed for HU writing and recording when now you literally have to get the band back together every time it's time to work on a new album?
Yeah. Well, it sucks because before I could avoid Johnny because he's a giant fucking asshole. I could pawn him off on J-Dog. You record the asshole's vocals, but now I'm stuck. I'm forced to do it. I'm the only guy, and he can't work a damn computer. No, it is crazy, dude, because he's right here. So it's benefited a lot because now he doesn't have to fly to LA. I don't have to fly to LA. We work together. I record his vocals, or if we're doing co-writes, it's great. He drives over here and we do co-writes. But I guess you don't need the band in the room to like write music anymore or record music anymore. It's crazy. It's like J-Dog's got his set up so he can record Danny or Dylan or those dudes. So yeah, it works out, man.
I think Danny just recently mentioned that he was recording his vocals for Runaway by himself.
Oh, yeah. He just got a set up at his house too. Yeah, so he can do vocals.
So he could do a lot of stuff in his home studio too.
Yep.
So speaking of solo albums, do you see this as a like one and done project, or do you see yourself like continuing working on solo stuff? Like, in other words, like this is like Pandora box opened for the solo projects.
Yeah, totally. What I think for sure, I'll definitely release more stuff just because I still enjoy recording music. So I'm going to continue to write songs that don't work for Hollywood Undead. So those songs, for me, like there's no greater gratification than showing someone your music and them liking it, or getting just a positive reaction from people. We all need it, especially artists who hate themselves most of the time. So it's like I'll continue to write music. So stuff that doesn't work for the band, or stuff that is just an expression of myself completely, that I just want the world to hear from me by myself, then I'll definitely do that. I don't think there's a way around it for me.
That's probably shouldn't be on the record, but can you punch J-Dog for us to stop teasing his solo music and not releasing it?
Yeah. Well, that's right. I don't know what he's doing with that.
Like, he's put a lot of clips, but he didn't really release anything.
No, I think he's in the same shoes I was in a year to 5 months ago, which was he doesn't know he's got music, but doesn't know what the fuck he should do with it. Should it be a Fudd Ruckus record? Should it be a J-Dog Fudd Ruckus record? Should it be a J-Dog record? I don't know.
I'd be down for any of that. Like, I've got the appetite for it. I'm sure others do, if that makes him feel better.
Yeah, and what about Kool Lips? Like a new like moniker for Dylan or something like that?
Say again.
Where Dylan's got that new stage name where he was on Rocom or Rockums.
Oh yeah,
Cool Lips from the Palm Tree Inn, right?
Rocom, right?
Yeah, I think the track's title was Big, and it had like 6 or 7 dudes on it, but he snuck in there on a verse with a new pseudonym. So we're
Oh
kind of
shit.
waiting in anticipation. Like, does that mean he's going to do more stuff under that moniker? Or
Oh, was that recently or is that an old one?
it was like in the last couple months.
Yeah, he talked. I think he has like a song or two that he's recorded for himself that are done. But he hasn't even showed me. Like I heard through someone else in the band. Everyone, he's very secretive about his shit. Like I don't know. But I know that he has a song or two. So maybe I don't know. He should just throw them on the internet. Fuck it, release them.
I still keep trying to get him to leak the old Bastard Wax Crew demos he did with your brother and Justin and Kiltron.
Yeah. PWB or some shit.
Yeah.
Pussy Weak Butthole. PWB.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some good shit.
So so you're entering this unique phase in your career. You're seemingly firing on all cylinders. The band has solidified and you guys are cranking stuff out on a regular cadence. You're releasing tracks like outside of an album cycle. You're working with other artists. You're doing production. You've got solo stuff going on. But also at the same time, now there's this new generation of artists, like you talked about Andrew, like No Love for the Middle Child, Zero. You worked with Kill Station on Volume 2.
Yeah.
What gets you excited about working with this younger talent? And are there any other up and coming artists that have caught your ear recently?
It's great. It's great working with these young dudes because it's just it's impressive like how young they are and how talented they are. Seems like kids are getting smarter and more talented, which is annoying for me who's 29, like I said. But yeah, there's artists that I would love to work with who are younger for sure. Grandson is one.
Oh, he's a good one.
His stuff, he's great. I would love to work with that dude. Continue to work with Zero and No Love, but yeah, that's about it, man. It's crazy. These kids are good.
So this is one that I really wanted to ask. Listening to Kingdom's lyrics, I'm reminded of like that very first verse of yours that I heard in 2008 on Undead on the radio. Also, shout out to Kilo. Like in that verse that you did in Undead, you had a lot to say about how far you'd come just for folks to even be hearing those lyrics on the radio at that point in your career.
Yeah.
And you and the band have definitely been through some shit over the years between deals and labels and legal drama and all that stuff. Kingdom's lyrics, to me, like there's some verses in there and some phrases that kind of seem to pick up that torch years later down the road. Kind of like in a rear view perspective, like you were using in the writing you did on Gotta Let Go. Like the line, I've been beaten and abused, underestimated too, man, I've overpaid my dues, is like like a really powerful like moment in that track for me. So do you want to unpack like what your headspace was when you were writing that stuff for Kingdom, and like is that what you were thinking about at the time?
Crazy. Yeah, I guess 100%, man. It's like at first when I was gonna do my solo project, there was I showed it to a few managers who passed on the shit. They're like, nah, I'm good. Or just like avoided me, which was fucking annoying. Which is like, oh, they only give a shit about Hollywood Undead if it's a solo thing. They're not fucking interested. So it really fucking pissed me off. And just anyone who didn't think that I could, it was just for haters and shit. You know, it's like all these songs are for anyone who doubted you or thinks you're not good enough, or which happens all the time, no matter what. It's still like the same shit that happened to me before Hollywood Undead, and the shit I was talking about in Undead still happens now. It's just different, but that shit happens all the time with just being denied or underestimated or any of that kind of thing. So yeah, Kingdom 100% was coming from the heart with those lyrics of just, it had to do with recent times and old times.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask you about the artworks part. So the first two singles, artworks for them was made by Danny and Funny Man.
Yeah.
And do you want to speak a little bit on how was working with your bandmates, but not as like musicians, but like artists and designers?
Yeah, well, Dylan, I wanted him to do the artwork. He wasn't like as open with his drawing before. He like kept it on the download. Like I was saying, like he's probably has a solo project that I don't know about because he's all secretive about his shit. He's the only friend I have who I haven't seen his dick too. I've seen all my friends' dicks, you know, not his. He's secretive about his dick, which is annoying. I'd love to see it. But one time he and I took some mushrooms and he was out of the room and like we were in his room just like drinking wine all fucked up and we spilled wine, or I spilled wine, and it got all over his coffee table and it landed on his brand new white shoes he just showed me in the box, like some specialty Vans, red wine on it, and then also on like his notebook. So I was like, fuck. So I was wiping all the wine up and it was on his notebook. So I was like opening the notebook to wipe the wine off, and it was all pictures of like big butts that he drew or like weed leaves and shit. So I was like going through the pages and laughing my fucking ass off, wiping these. And I was like, damn, Dylan, you're a good fucking artist. So after that, it's like, if I'm doing artwork, of course I need Funny Man, especially the song's comedic. And he's so good at like these little caricatures that are silly. It's like, I had texted him. Yeah. I was like, dude, you got to do the artwork. And he killed it on that picture he drew. It looked perfect.
The tailgate and all that.
Yeah, it's so good.
Will you continue to use some of their arts for singles, or maybe some other faces, like maybe like an old friend, Akrophagor, or something like that?
Yeah. Because George and Jarrell, I've seen a little of their artwork. It's pretty whack, if I'm being honest. So I don't think it'll make the cut. But maybe, I don't know. That's a good question, because I'm gonna need some more fucking artwork, and I suck at drawing. My shit's whack. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have Johnny or J-Dog do one. That would be cool if they'd be down. Ask them. They have me blocked, so I can't ask them myself.
Yeah, speaking of album title, you previously mentioned that you have like two options, and you still didn't decide which one is better. Like for now, you decided for the album title?
I think so. I think I'm gonna go with the first one I went with. Maybe I should say it now. Fuck it, I'll say it now. So it was gonna either be Kingdom, like Charlie Scene Kingdom, I thought would look cool, but it's gonna be, I think, Charlie Scene The Outsider, because I have a song called The Outsider that I love, and that's a topic I've always wanted to write about but never could. Like before I read a song, or while I'm writing a song, I try to come up with a good like topic. Like I don't like to just write a song about fucking nothing. Like I need to know what it's about, like in detail. So I always had this subject about being an outsider, because I've always felt like an outsider. I feel like anyone or everyone's always at some point felt like an outsider, like they don't fit in, or they're an outcast, any of that kind of thing. Like I still feel like I don't fit in anywhere. So I've always loved that title, The Outsider, or just Outsider. So I wrote a song finally that I was happy with on that subject, called The Outsider. And I've tried multiple times, but I finally got it. And it's one that I co-produced with Griffin Boice, that's going on the record, that I am so excited about. So I have a feeling the record will be called The Outsider. What do you guys think? Good or what?
The Outsider is a bold one. I like it.
Cool. Or just Outsider, maybe no the. What do you think?
Just don't call it Outside. I'll get confused, because you already have HU's already got a song called Outside. So don't call it Outside, but Outsider or The Outsider, I think is fine.
Yeah, that's a great name for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, it's got some mystique to it, right? Like, what are you outside of? It could be a lot of things, and it could be a lot of things for different people too, right?
Right. Yep. And it does mean every one of those things too, because it means a lot of different things to me.
No, I'm excited to hear it now. You've got my interest.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you that one.
Reel me in.
Yeah.
So I know you've had to let people know on social media, and we get asked about this constantly with solo stuff, like with Johnny, with you, with, other folks. Even with Danny, with like his old bandmates putting out some old Lorin Drive songs, like people are like, oh, I feel like HU is breaking up. Like, do you want to officially go on record and let folks know that you're not dissolving or breaking up and that it's going to be okay, and put everyone's hearts at ease?
Yeah, I would love to break up with them because they're such fucking dicks. No, dude, hell no. Like, it's so crazy because all of us really are, like, bullshit aside, supportive of each other and doing solo things. Like, we really are. It's like, why not? Like, I can't wait to hear what everyone else does in the band, but there's no way that we would break up as a band, at least not anytime soon. Like, there's no reason we would. We all still get along after all these years. It's like we're in the best place we've ever been, like, as far as career. And we still enjoy doing it. We still have fun. We still laugh. I courtesy laugh at a lot of the shit, but yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. We ain't going nowhere, dude. It's great.
That'll put some hearts and minds at ease, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that subject, I've actually come up on our social media and try to explain everything that solo projects coming out is actually a good thing. Like, for me, it's like expanding Hollywood Undead universe for some reason.
Yep, totally. And it lets people like get their artistic expression out without trying to do that in a band where it really is like a collection of people. It's like you can't really, like, it's hard. It's like I was saying earlier, it's like you have maybe one verse to like spill your guts or whatever you're going through. It's like sometimes 16 bars or sometimes 8 bars isn't enough to explain yourself to someone. So it's good to let everyone in the band as artists get that out of your system, see what you want to say, and then get back to Hollywood Undead and shut the fuck up and give me some more verses, because that's what the fans want to hear.
Got to spit bars.
So we are totally excited to hear, like, not only yours, but the other guys' solo projects too.
Yep.
Keep it going.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's an appetite for it, because you can see, like, on the Abyss, like what George does solo, and then you can see, okay, I can see how that influence works its way into HU proper. I can see what you're doing in your solo stuff, and then I can see what that looks like once it's blended with 5 people, right?
Totally. 100%. Yeah. From the solo projects, you'll definitely get a vibe of what that artist kind of brings to the table, or that their forte, for sure.
Yeah. So you just announced your 3rd single, Can't Break Me Down. I was spinning it multiple times, like in the hour leading up to this. Like, I was a little anxious before this interview because I didn't know how stuff was going to go, but it's been a fun ride so far. Appreciate your time. So it got me in the right headspace. And one of the verses, you're talking about being stuck in your own head for so long. Is this track meant to be a metaphor for your writer's block, like you've mentioned, or like, just trying to get solo stuff out? Like, what are you talking about in this track?
This song, I'm talking about people, like, getting in your head, kind of, like people, it talks a lot about people doubting you and hating on you or underestimating you. And it's like, all that does is increase your drive. That only makes you work harder. So it's like, that's fine. Talk all your shit or whatever you got to do, but that's literally just fueling the fire. And that's what the song's about.
Yeah, there's all those fire and coal analogies and stuff in there.
Yeah. Just lights my fire. Exactly. Like that. It just makes me want to work even harder. So thank you.
now you got something to prove, and you're going to have receipts at the end of the day, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, well, I mean, one of the first comments I made to you when you sent that over was how rich the instrumental sounded, like even on my janky, like several-year-old phone. I listened to it on the nice headset since then, but did you work with anyone in particular on the final version of this? Is it all you?
Yeah. Yeah, that one's all me. That's one that the way that came about was I have a neighbor here in Nashville who plays guitar, and he wants to be a songwriter, but he's never written a song. So we were out here in the garage where we are now, and I was like, oh, it's easy. You should just write a song like this. And I started playing Can't Break Me Down, like literally like freestyling it. I was like, it's like this. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, hey, don't fucking use that, asshole. I came up with it. And then we recorded it in my phone that night and fucked around with the idea. And then I went into the studio the next day and put it all in and recorded it and built on it. And the song just like, it was one that I produced and wrote and was so excited about. It was like one of the first ones, I guess, when writing for my solo album that I produced by myself, wrote by myself, and completed by myself, only just sent it to a mixer and master. But it was one of those feelings where it's like you take a song from start to finish with no one else there by your fucking self. It's so gratifying at the end of it. And I spent countless hours tweaking this and that, overthinking shit. But finally now it's like, there it is. And I'm sure there's parts about it I'll still be unhappy with, little tweaks or like levels here and there, but it's out there and I'm excited for people to hear it.
I haven't heard the full song yet, just like 30 seconds, but I can totally see why you call it like European. It's electronic, like has definitely some European vibes.
Totally. That's what like everyone I've showed it to is like, oh shit, this will be huge in Russia. Or like this is like a European, like it really like it has that vibe. I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's definitely on the electronic side, right? Like as far as stuff that I've done. But yeah.
So I'm gonna pass on the next question since I think we've covered it. So I'll let you do the next one, Vic.
Okay, so what else can we expect from the solo album? Like what are you excited for the most?
Man, I'm excited about different songs for different reasons. Like there's definitely ones that stick out that I'm super excited about.
Like if you had to choose one.
If I had to choose one, man, there's two. There's The Outsider. I'm super excited for people to hear. It's just probably the most expressive as far as it goes with like shit that I'm feeling or was feeling. A lot of the songs are like about self-doubt and like just like inner like battles that you have with yourself, which I have a lot of, you know, and I think a lot of people do. So it feels really good to let all that out. And so a lot of the songs are about that. And that's what I just so happened to be going through recently. Had some tough times just with, you know, my own thoughts and doubting and whatever. That's all on the record. So that song probably expresses that sentiment the most.
So I can spin something out of that, I suppose. Like mental health is a huge issue, especially like in the United States. Like it's becoming more and more of like a topic of discussion, whereas in the past it was a little taboo. And that is a theme you revisit a lot in your music, and it sounds like on this album coming up. Like, you know, do you have anything you would like to say to folks that might be going through some shit that might not have the ability to like put it into a song or something, or, you know, make them feel more at ease, like, hey, even I go through this shit, right?
Yeah, totally, man. Man, how do I word it? Well, I would just say, like, people should really stop doubting themselves or stop putting themselves down. If you can just stop your mind from going there instantly and just know that that's just a little part of your mind that allows yourself to go there, and the more you draw attention to it, the more it's going to affect you, and the more it's going to keep going on and on. So if you can just stop any negative thoughts instantly, it kind of helps. And that's what I do, because anyone's mind can go to a dark place if you let it. And it's easier said than done. But I think the easiest part is just trying to do it right away and trying to be aware of it, because it never will go away. Any kind of fucking weird thoughts or anxieties you have, it's kind of like they won't ever go away. You just kind of have to deal with them and know how to ignore them, or try your best to, and try to eliminate it right away. So
yeah, like it's not like acknowledging in the first place is a big step, right?
Yep, totally, exactly. So and this album has helped a lot. It's got all that shit off my chest, and like, man, I'm in a lot better place than I was writing this record. And there are party songs on here too, but I'm talking about like the deeper shit that's real. I'm definitely in a better place than then, but this album has helped the process of it and getting it all out. It kind of lets me take a step back and look at it and see it for what it is, and kind of realize, oh, it's bullshit. And it's not that hard, really, in hindsight, to get to a good place. It just takes work.
Most things worth having do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I am tapped out. Vic, is there anything else you want to tag on before we wrap this thing up here?
Yeah, I think we're done with our questions.
Yeah, like
fellas.
At least for the record.
Yeah, we might hit you back up once everything else is dropped and out there, do a round 2, but
100%, I'm down.
We like, seriously, thank you so much for your time. Like, I know we ran long here. If you're out there watching this on the interwebs, like, thanks for sitting through. This was a lot of work to pull this together in our spare time. So we appreciate you out there listening and watching. You know, let's close out with promo. Like, where can people find you, and, you know, what do you want them to go listen to and stuff?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know, because I can't get the same fucking username on all my shit, YouTube, TikTok, like it's all different, so it's confusing. So if you just go to my Instagram, The Real Charlie Scene, I got a link tree, or anywhere on Facebook, whatever it is on there, Charlie Scene something or other 101.
We're gonna drop all of the tags like in the edit, right? We're gonna put them right on your face. So just like start.
There we go. Right here. Yeah. Find me on there. I'm gonna keep releasing songs. I have 11. I wanted 10, like that was what I always thought, but there was one that came at the end, a song called Good Mourning, but Mourning with a MOU. So it's like Mourning for, you know. That song was the last one, and it's like, okay, this one is going on. It's gonna be an 11-song record, because why not? So just keep a lookout for that.
It's your world, man. We're just living in it.
I'm excited for you guys to hear it.